Welcome back to the main ESC broadcast. This is the Spring 2025 Championships for Overwatch. We got a pretty great game coming for you. My name is Colin Sweeney,
I am Turner Beretta, also known as Spooky Hand.
and boy, we've got a game. Number 3 seed Kent State comes up against number 2 seed Northeastern University. I'm excited. We watched
Yeah.
Kent State play just a minute ago and play against BGSU. It was a great game. BGSU fought back a bit, and Kent State ended up taking it. And yeah, we're pretty excited here.
Yeah. I mean, Kent State is still, again, one seeded to win this, but when Kent State, hang on, let me make sure I have
When
all of
Kent State played
when I,
last,
yeah, well, when I have all of my notes ready, then this works much better. There we go. Okay, so like I said, when Kent State played NEU, NEU is the one seeded to win this one. When Kent State played NEU, Kent State did lose 0-3 back in the preseason before the bracket ended up starting for the playoffs. So as we work into this, while NEU is still seeded to win, I'm hoping to see something from Kent State come out. I know we had a lot of people in the Twitch chat originally rooting for them to win win the last game, and I'm sure that energy is going to stay alive. And as they are both coming off of a win, their mental games should be relatively higher than usual. So I'm expecting both of these teams to be very excited for the maps that they're going into here shortly. And I am being told that it is Oasis that we're starting with, so we're going back to Oasis once again. That'll be an interesting one to see what comps we end up seeing. I'm sure both Kent State and NEU are going to be probably playing some of their more familiar comps. I'm expecting to see a Ram, a Sojourn again, probably a Juno and a Kiri, maybe another Ana. That's what these players seem to be comfortable with. And from Kent State, we might end up seeing maybe a May come out once again. I know we saw that last game, but from NEU, I'm sure that they're comfortable with that Genji pick as well. So we'll see what they go ahead and decide with as we move over to Oasis here shortly.
yeah, absolutely. It's also important. It's very important to notice the differences between all these different sub maps in Oasis. You know, you've got the university, which is a lot more enclosed with a bit of a well on the center that puts you down a bit, right? You got gardens, which is quite open space, you know. But I mean, a May is good in all of these different places. Afara is good in almost every single one of these maps. I mean, there's a lot of different things you can get away with on these control maps. And I mean, I genuinely think we could see a bit of everything. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some Hazard or some Ryan could be played on University, or you know, all these different things. But I'm very excited. I think we've got two spectacular teams ready to play here.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, some of the comps to be expected, like I was talking about, the way that these two teams are going to come at each other. I'm hoping that from the season that they have learned from what we've seen from them. As I said, Kent State did it lose 0-3 to NEU, so NEU is definitely in a position that they could use the season beforehand and that prior knowledge to bring to the table that same kind of energy that brought them to the win overall. And I'm certain that they're going to be trying to do the same thing over and over again. And as they do that, I'm pretty sure that we're going to see a good fight, but I'm not necessarily too in my high hopes that it is not going to be in 03 just because of the preseason and what we saw and how these teams have played each other. But I'm certain that Northeastern and Kent State are going to put up as much of a fight as they can. And as we get into the comps here, it's seeing like Frisco is on that Hazard, followed up by Cassidy being Hedwig. We got a May from Ducklin, a Luciel from Shiro, and Hop on that Kiri. And the mirror is pretty evident, although their DPS and tank do seem to be switched around a bit, with not a droid on that Winston and a blue card on that Sojourn, as well as Kosi on Tracer.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see what each team can do with with the same support line. Wow, I'm stuttering. And I mean, both teams already deciding to take a bit of point there, but you know, Northeastern backing up a little bit, playing a little bit safer here. We're gonna have to see what happens. I mean, taking high ground is all about, or all like what it's all about, right? Being able to shoot the heads from above. Frisco going in and getting skied. Natadroid and Ablukard falling to Frisco and Ducklin. Legs falling as well, and that's just gonna be a cleanup for Northeastern. I mean,
Yeah.
playing it incredibly well.
they were able to take that one well, and I don't know. I do want to point out to the prod people that Kent State is currently 3-1 against Northeastern with Ball State's logo. So just wanted to point that out really quick before we continue this game. But as we see what Kent State is trying to work with here, battling against Northeastern is definitely something that they need to try and adjust their playstyles to, because what we saw from Kent State was they're really good at holding a point, but right now Northeastern just seems to be better at getting to the point first, and so Kent State is kind of in a battle to get the point so they can start defending it. And as we go ahead and see what's going on here, Notadroid is trying to hold this point, but there's a lot of damage coming in from a lot of different places. And while a blue card did manage to take Shiro out, first go does return the favor on a Notadroid, and a blue card not too long for this world, followed up by Kosai, and the rest of the Kent State team is going to fall as well shortly after, with Lex off the map to regroup.
That was very well played from Northeastern, and it shows as well. I mean, Northeastern already having so much more ult charge than Kent State. I mean, you're gonna go in there and gonna have Blade, Deadeye, as well as Kitsune Rush, while Kent State is gonna be lucky to have Orbital Ray. So we're gonna have to see what they do.
Yeah, but out comes Kitsune Rush, followed up by a little bit of a May wall, so the rest of Northeastern is going to have some trouble getting in there. First go is taken out by a car, chasing after a blue card, and the rest of Kent State now trying to work past the Northeastern team. Out comes the Blade, trying to get as many as they can. We do see the Satellite Vector trying to protect them, but I think Ski is also taken out by a car. So much insurance fraud is coming out in this game, it's ridiculous. But Hedwig is able to take out Lex. But Kosai is able to return the favor on a Hedwig, and the rest of the team trying to do something. We do see the Terror Surge come out, and it's no deflect onto Ducklin, but wow, as the overtime comes out, a blue card, the only member of Kent State remaining. And as we do see, no, it wasn't. The last remaining member was Sky, but there goes the Kent State team. They are going to take the first round of map 1.
Absolutely. Well played from Northeastern. I felt like there were definitely some characters on Kent State that unfortunately were unable to get an ultimate that round, and that could have definitely been a benefacting or a factor in Kent State not being able to.
Can you tell we're tired?
Yeah, we've been through the ringer today. But yeah, definitely an ultimate unable to be even gotten on Kent State. Just kind of left them unable to fully fight for point. Northeastern, on the other hand, doing incredibly well and getting ults on every account. We'll have to see. It looks like there's not actually too many swaps here, except for Natadroid go. Actually, no, he was already on the Orisa.
Yeah, so there. I think the swap was the. We're seeing a Cassidy mirror. I don't think there was a Cassidy mirror beforehand. I'm not necessarily sure who a blue card was, or I think
blue card was Cass.
Oh, sorry, Hedwig was May. That's right.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Northeastern has switched it up to go to that more Cassidy playstyle. But as we see now, Kent State trying to take that high ground play, but Northeastern already kind of on their butts as they fight for it. We're seeing a lot go down here. Buckfoot is able to take out Sky. Hedwig gets a double kill, and Hop is able to clean up the kills there onto Kosai, and so Northeastern once again has the point early on, and right now they just need to play that defensive game strong as Kent State fights to try and get to the point at all right now and try to get any contestation on it whatsoever.
Absolutely. I mean, Northeastern, both teams playing very well right now, being able to hold off for that long. Ski getting a crucial pick on Shiro. That's going to be a whole lot of health and mobility out from Northeastern, and it's going to be a minute until he comes back. And it looks like Kent State's kind of doubling back on itself, trying to kill some people from Northeastern that try to get in the backline. Ducklin getting Ablukard, but unfortunately Kosi and Ski are both going to kill members from Northeastern, and it's going to be rather difficult for Northeastern to sustain. Yeah, I take it back. There's so much mobility. Sorry.
Yeah, I think right now Northeastern's just kind of trying to stall for the rest of their team to come back into this fight. But Notadroid is taking out not one but two, and Lex is going to be able to clean up that fight early on. And now they finally have gotten some contention onto the point as they build up the percentage themselves. So Northeastern going to go for that little regroup there. They were trying to stall for as long as they can, but they're not going to go in just two players while Northeastern was taking down three. So right now, Kent State just playing that defensive game. We're seeing first go almost to their ult, but out comes the Kitsune Rush as well as the rain from Frisco. Not able to find too much from the Kent State team, but now we see the Kitsune Rush from Kent State also come out. Blizzard possibly on the horizon. It does come out, but the rest of them have backed off. Hedwig tries to find a blue card. They do. We see the Blade come out as well. Not as Droid with the slam onto Duckland. It does take the Blade out of the fight. We see that Beat is still in this as Hedwig takes out Sky. Down goes the Beat, not a Droid, able to take Frisco out of the fight once again as well. And now it is just the remaining members of Northeastern up against Kent State in this moment. Only 3 of them to remain. And Kosai is trying to wrap back around to get into a position where they can be safe, and they do. And Kent State, once again, has gotten this point past the halfway mark, and Northeastern has got to find some kind of a rhythm to break past their defense.
Absolutely. That last fight, I mean, a lot of ults were used, but I want to focus a lot on the Kosi ult, the Blizzard. It was absolutely just not used for anybody, right? It didn't get a single person, and generally you can consider it a zoning ult, like it zones characters away from the rest of the team, but it didn't even do that. There was nobody even anywhere near it. And now they're going to suffer a little bit because they don't have it to use. Duckland killing, it looks like Hedwig, and then it's currently even. Kosai getting the upper hand while killing Q-Hop, but Shiro makes it even again. Natadroid getting Frisco, and there's not too many people left. And that's it for Kent State. We're going to go into final fight territory here, and it's going to be rough for Northeastern to even touch. They're going to be down Shiro for sure.
Yeah, and they're also down a few ultimates. I have a feeling that we're going to see Kitsune Rush and the Rain come out from Frisco, and from Kent State, they're going to have to work towards Blizzard, but I have a feeling with that kill from Kosai, they are going to have a chance to do so. Hedwig and Hop are able to take down both supports from the Kent State team, but down goes Hedwig as the Kitsune Rush does come out. Natadroid has no healing to their name and is going to fall to Shiro, and right now Northeastern seems to be in a good spot to take this one back and bring this one out of overtime to try and get them on the board in this series.
That was very well played from Northeastern, absolutely bringing it back from the brink right there, 99 to 45. If they had lost that fight, that would have been game right there. Or sorry, would not have been game. They would have gone on to point 3 of game 1. And now we see kind of walking in here, Kent State's going to have 2, almost 3 or 4 ults, while Northeastern only has 1, maybe 2. So we're going to have to see what Kent State can do. Alucard getting 2 already.
Yeah, but they're not fighting on the point. They've got to go get the point because they're still building up. But at this point, Kent State seems to be favored to take this one as Lex gets a double kill. And the last remaining member of Northeastern is Delucio, playing the high ground. Gonna get ready to try and touch here. He does. Can he do it? He gets bumped off, but no. He is going to fall, but that buys a little bit of time for Northeastern to come back in. We see the Tracer try to get onto point as well as the ball. The rest of them are just gonna fight this one out for as long as they can. Terra Surge at the ready, as well as Kitsune Rush now out in the fight. We're seeing one could go down here. The Tracer does end up falling. Finally, the Terra Surge comes out. Who can it find? It finds one onto the Cassidy. Lex gets one onto the ball, and Hop is finally taken down to give Kent State map number 2, and they're gonna work toward point number 3 to see who will win game number 1. That's a lot of numbers in one sentence.
Yeah, absolutely well played from Kent State there. They absolutely needed that win. I mean, going into that last fight, having 3 out of 5 ults, Northeastern not having a single one, it's gonna affect the way you play that game. I mean, Kent State's gonna go into that fight like feeling super ready, and having these ults makes them super powerful and everything. I mean, it really felt like there almost wasn't a whole lot that Northeastern could have done, really.
Yeah, there's not too much that they could have fought back on just because Kent State had enough cushioning to eventually come back and take this. But as we see, Northeastern go for a bit of a swap on the tank roll. Kent State is bringing to the table that May and Sojourn combo. So right now it's just Frisco fighting up against Theorissa in the corner there. Going to try and push him away from the rest of the team as they go ahead and focus. Ends up pushing one off the map, gets Hedwig. It's not counted as kill credit, but they are taken down. And now it's just the remaining members of Northeastern trying to fight this one out. Duckland is going to fall to Kosai, and now the Droid is able to take down Frisco as well. And Kent State seems to be in a good spot to try and bring this one back. It's just Hop who ends up falling to a blue card, and right now Kent State has taken the point for themselves. Just got to defend it all the way to 100%.
Even after that first pick from Kent State, with that first pick from Kent State, getting onto that Hedwig, Northeastern is able to take that point. You know, playing a man down, like I've been saying this entire stream, is incredibly difficult. and it very often leads to a loss in the team fight.
Yeah, we're seeing now Notadroid try to focus on the back line there as a blue card is able to take down Shiro. It's just a blue card kind of alone right now fighting. See if they can get out of this little sticky situation. Frisco takes down Notadroid, and the rest of the team is trying to stay alive as long as they can to keep up the pressure. But as each trade comes in and out, Cozy takes down Hop. Hop takes down Sky. Hedwig now takes down a blue card. And we're just going to see this keep going back and forth. Ducklin and Shiro finally end the fight, and Northeastern has captured the point in their favor.
Really well played. Kent State coming in with more ult pressure than Northeastern, only having 3 ults there, Kent State being closer to 4. I mean, we're going to have to see what happens. I want to see Kent State use ults first. And honestly, Northeastern needs to use ults first if they want to win as well. Right? Get ults used, use them, and then, you know, get a pick, and you're playing up a man, right? Like I've been saying. Kitsune coming out from Kent State, just like we wanted to see. Blizzard as well coming out, overclock from Northeastern, trying to get rid of Kent State's pressure. It's going to go really well. Ducklin getting Lex and Q-Hop. Ducklin getting another on Saski, getting a 4K onto Alucard. And Kent State is able to hold, or Northeastern is able to hold on to this point. Getting a huge dagger onto Natadroid as well.
Yeah, that took a lot of ults from Kent State, 2 of them to be exact, but they've got 3 in reserve as Northeastern only has 1, 2 on the way as well in this next team fight. So it is going to possibly be another one of those big ult fights coming out from both sides, but wow, did that Satellite do numbers for the Northeastern team, kept them alive for a while. When we do see a blue card has that overclock at the ready, we'll see what they do if they decide to use it here on the side, if they do go ahead and do that. But as the remaining members of Kent State try to move around, we're seeing the beat come out as well as the overclock from a blue card. See if they can do any work with it, but that is a rough chance to be in with that. Wow, what a shot! We're seeing the other beat come out from Lex, but Sky is taken out. Notadroid does have Terra Surge at the ready. Can they take out any members of Northeastern in this situation as Blade comes out? Can they get him away? Notadroid is able to take Hedwig out early on. Ducklin is able to return fire onto a blue card. Frisco is out of the fight as well. It's just the Lucio as they try to fight back. In this fight, can they do it? Northeastern now in overtime territory. Notadroid takes Ducklin out of the fight. Sky takes Shiro out of the fight. And it seems like Kent State is going to get this point to themselves. They've got to hold it up until the end. But right now, one team fight could mean the victory for Northeastern.
Very well played from both teams. And neither team is going to have ult ready for the start of this next fight. Kosai being the closest. But Orbital Ray and Hedwig are going to be able to have their ults close in succession. But Natadroid getting an early pick onto Ducklin, that could be huge for Kent State to capitalize on. And it looks like, honestly, Northeastern's just going to back up and play safe. You know, keep themselves safe until Ducklin comes back and just kind of not stagger themselves, you know?
Yeah, Kent State does have Blizzard in reserve to try and stop a push from Northeastern, especially one from the satellite. So we'll see what ends up happening, but out comes the Vector. See what it can do. Blizzard does come out as well, but it seems like a lot of the Northeastern team is fighting outside of it. And outside of the Orbital Ray is Ducklin takes down a blue card. We're seeing the overclock from Hedwig. Can they keep it going? Can Northeastern take this one? Hop is able to take Notadroid out of the fight. Lucio is out of the fight as well. The May is next to follow. Overtime goes. Can they get on it? Yes! They can't keep it alive. Hedwig finds 2 more, and it's just a blue card who falls. Northeastern is on the board.
Incredibly well played from both sides, getting a 96-99 or 96-100 victory there. Very hard fought, and this, I hope this is what's to come from the next few maps, you know? I mean, that was super well played, and I'm excited, you know?
Sorry, I'm out of breath again. That takes a lot out of me. But yeah, that was a great fight from both sides. And as we go ahead and cut back to us, I'd like to say both teams putting up a phenomenal fight right now. Kent State definitely not out of this one just yet as they're fighting against NEU, who, while they are in the lead right now, Kent State seems to be putting up much more of a fight than they did in the main season because they seem to have learned what NEU was all about. They did their research, probably did a few VOD reviews against them, Instead, we said, okay, here's the problem. Here's how we fix it. Here's how we resolve it. And here's what we bring to the table this time. And Kent State is in a much better position than they were before. But NEU is definitely not giving up their position just yet as the number 2 seed. They don't want to be knocked into the lower bracket just yet. And I'm sure neither does Kent State.
Absolutely. I mean, if you look at Kent State's team, I mean, they're doing super well. They've got Ablikar and Kosai being such staple damage dealers, but I mean, Northeastern has just also got it right back at them. Being able to come back out with as much damage and as much support as they have, just kind of nulligates or nullifies it. Being able to go so back and forth, right? Northeastern is such a good matchup for Kent State here that while Northeastern won, it was such a close game that it's almost like you could almost call it a stalemate. Like it's super close.
Yeah. I mean, they were able to take them practically to double overtime in
Yeah,
terms of what the game was looking like. But NEU was just able to bring that one back around and win that first game and get on the board. But as we move over to, I believe, hybrid, I'm wondering, first off, what map we're going to see, what comps we're going to see, and it is Kings Row. But how Kent State is going to respond to NEU and how NEU is going to respond as well.
absolutely. Kings are up for the third time in a row.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we might see the same things we've been seeing. A lot of Ramatra, a lot of Soj, a lot of May. These staple Kings Row characters that are just so good, and they're so good for a reason. A lot of the characters are meta at the moment, and so it helps that not only are they meta, but they're also good in that map composition.
Yeah. I mean, they're working as hard as they can to battle against NEU, and I'm certain that they're coming up with solutions because they did take almost the map away from NEU, and that would have been a great start for Kent State. But NEU just kind of had that cushioning that we saw in the second round of that map that Kent State had over NEU, and having cushioning can be important because it gives you more ult charge, it gives you more time again to find those weaknesses in the team's play style, and it just gives you more time overall to fight against. So more team fights, which means more ults, which means more fights, which means more ults, which means anything can really happen in that situation. And as we go ahead and move over to Kings Row here shortly, I'm very excited to see if either team is able to push this one both to the end because it seems like both are very capable of doing so.
Absolutely. And you know what I liked hearing from what you just said? Ults. I like
Yeah.
hearing ults. I mean, just ult economy is so important in this game. I mean, being able to use ults smartly, not waste them, be able to not only not waste them, but use them in a good time at the start of the fight. Get the first pick, using a support ult maybe when you're getting low, right? Sustaining a fight. Um, Super important, and both of these teams are doing super well with it. I don't think I've looked at the screen yet, and neither team is like close to an ult, or neither one team is like incredibly outpacing another in terms of ults. I don't think I've seen that quite yet.
No, but looking at the comps right now, we're seeing what Kent State is used to on this point and what worked before for them. We're seeing Foggy now on that Ramatra, a blue card once again on that Sojourn, Kosai on that May, followed by Lex and Frosty on both Kiriko and Ana, respectively. From Northeastern, they are on attack, so I'm not shocked to see that Widow come out firsthand. Ducklin is on that Somber, so a bit of more backline action here. Frisco has mirrored that, that Ramatra, and then we're seeing Shiro and Hop both on Lucio and Juno, and now Ducklin has changed off and went to that Genji, and Hedwig has also changed off and gone to that Sojourn.
Yep, just like we were saying, Ramatra May, very very strong characters in this map. Northeast is going to go take high ground, try and push Kent State off of it. Frisco going so low, it's forced Nemesis already, which is not fantastic. I mean, oh, big headshot from Hedwig. But having Nemesis forced out so early is not good at all. It does so much damage and gives a lot more health to a team. And so having it forced out is rough.
Yeah, I mean, Northeastern, Kent State, once again, something we've been seeing on Kings Row so often in these games. The defending team gives up so much space early on, and Northeastern is just, with the mobility characters that they're playing, has a field day with that open space and is able to just force the Kent State team into backing up and gives Northeastern so much room to breathe that it's so hard to push back on it because you're not pushing back to start with and forcing Northeastern to push back as well. You're just allowing them to basically run over you as you allow them so much space.
Yeah, unfortunately, the reason that is happening is because, I mean, Foggy's on point, and there isn't a whole lot of things he can do when Frisco and the rest of Northeastern goes high ground, right? When you go top right there onto high ground and force Kent State off of there, I mean, Foggy's just stuck on point. He can't do anything except shoot from afar, which can help, but it's definitely not being up close and personal.
Yeah, and now we do see a lot of ults already ready to come out. We could see some of them, but Hedwig and Ducklin and Frisco ends up cleaning up. Froggy's able to clean up as well. One on Shiro, but I doubt they're going to stay alive for very long. Ducklin seems to be in a bad spot. Foggy is able to clean up one onto Ducklin as well, which puts Northeastern in a bit of a deficit as Kent State wraps back around to try and bring this one back. But right now, I have a feeling that Ducklin is able to get back to this point by the time that Kent State is able to as well.
Yeah, and something else to mention is that there was quite a large stagger onto Foggy there. I mean, he's not not Reinhardt. Ramacho's not exactly a fast character, right? So it's gonna take him a minute to get back, and extra long since they got staggered. And now Kent State's gonna have almost 5 ults, and so is Northeastern. I expect a whole lot of ults coming out, and we've already seen one getting canceled, but getting one in the end.
Yeah, we do see the Blizzard come out as well. It doesn't trap that Ramacho inside of it. Foggy trying to fight if both Annihilation comes out, as well as Kitsune Rush. Can they keep Foggy alive for long enough for this Annihilation to run out? I think we're going to see an Annihilation of their own, but out comes the Blade. Can they take him out in time? Yes, they do, but Frisco is able to clean up one on the Frosty, and right now, the Annihilation has not come out from Foggy as well. Is it going to come out? There it is. Finally, we're seeing it, but as well as the beat from Shiro, we're seeing a possible another ult. Yeah, a blue card takes one. Fight for more. Can they get it? A second one goes down. Can they find a third? They do. Can they clean up on the rest of the team? They're low on health. They finally fall. And now it is just the May versus the Tracer and the Ramacho on point. She is going to fall and she can't get help. She does just a little bit, but finally falls. And now it is just the rest of Northeastern to take this point forward.
Super well played. Northeastern both teams using every ult that they have. Kent State, though, getting close to Blizzard, and Northeastern also getting really close to Annihilation. I mean, that's rough, going in there using every single ult, except for Blizzard, and still losing, right? I mean, it makes sense because it doesn't feel as bad because you're able to force out every single of their ults as well. And so, it feels a bit even, right? But, I mean, Hedwig already getting a kill on the Kosai, which means that Blizzard can't be used here, which is not a good feeling for Kent State.
Yeah, they gotta fight back right now, but it's really hard to keep Foggy alive as Hedwig finally takes him out. Look at the assist pattern on that. Wow, a lot of members of the Northeastern team, and now Ducklin is able to take one onto a blue card. Frisco cleans up on Frosty Knight, and Hedwig is able to take one out onto Kosai, and right now, Kent State is going to be staggered as they try to contest this point and hold back as long as they can, but they've got Blizzard if they can just get there in time. We see Annihilation come out, takes down Frosty. We see the Nano does able to get one. It does go onto Frosty, allowing them a little bit of time. The Blizzard comes onto point, but it's not going to last for enough time. Frisco takes out Foggy, as well as Kosai, and Northeastern have taken this with 3 minutes 19 on the clock.
I mean, if you thought 4 minutes or 2 minutes and 48 seconds from who was that, Miami this morning, that wasn't even 4 hours.
I think it was like 5 or something. It was like 6 or 5.
Yeah, 6 o'clock. Anyway, if you thought 2 minutes 48 seconds from Miami was a lot of time, I mean, now we've got even more. It's going to be a very scary prospect for Kent State to come up against that. I mean, they're playing well enough, but Northeastern just feels like they're kind of dominating here. Ducklin getting so many picks and Q-Hop kind of being able to support so much. And Kosai and Ablucard, it feels like they're not able to get as much value, as much production as they were able to get last game against BGSU.
Yeah, Northeastern now on the defense, though, as Kent State doesn't really change all too much up. I don't think they changed anything, actually. And so it's just going to be the natural comps against each other as Kent State tries to take this first point. We'll see if they're able to do it, or if Northeastern puts up more of a fight in the first part of this map instead of giving up so much space. But I think Northeastern still has a lot to hold against Kent State right now as they're trying to push past. They may allow them some space to work with, but maybe they'll just hold those off angles a bit harder than Kent State was able to.
Yeah, we will have to see here if Northeast or if Kent State is able to do what Northeastern did and take high ground. I mean, Frisco's going to be out of this fight a whole lot, but we're going to have to see. Duckland's holding that high ground currently, as well as Hedwig up there, able to get Ablacard immediately, and that's just going to force an immediate retreat from the side of Kent State. And I mean, yeah, Northeastern's just going to chase him down, you know. And I mean, why wouldn't you? You know, getting so many picks immediately, just hold him in the door.
Yeah, I mean, that's what you've got to do at this point. And Kent State has got to find some sort of a pattern, some sort of a rhythm to build to get past Northeastern right now. Maybe that means just one pick to their name, as a blue card is currently trying to find it, but playing these off angles without any supports backing them up, that's means for disaster right now, especially against Genji, who can do so much. But as we see, it's now Shiro trying to protect Genji. Frisco is able to take one down onto Lex, and it doesn't seem like the Kent State team is able to find too much onto the Northeastern side. Are they going to be able to find one pick? Yes, they are. Onto Shiro. Ducklin, though, returns the favor onto Frosty Knight, and Ducklin gets one onto Foggy. So right now, while Kent State does have a pick, they don't have enough fight left in them to take advantage of it.
Very well played from both, or from Northeastern specifically. I mean, even getting an early pick onto Lex, and Frisco got an early pick onto Lex, which kind of allowed forced Kent State to back up a little bit. A lot of healing gone, and rather unfortunate. But now we're gonna see Ducklin a little bit on the flank here, hoping to maybe get something, but unfortunately not able to get anything. And we're coming up on ults for both sides. Northeastern having close to 4, and Kent State also having almost 5.
Yeah, it's going to be a quick ult fight, I assume. Out comes Nano Boost. I'm assuming Annihilation is going to follow here shortly. The Satellite Vector does come out as well as Blade. Ducklin finds one, Hedwig finds one, Ducklin finds 3, finds 4! A TK for Northeastern. What a play!
Woo! And Kent State is now a little bit behind in the ult race. Northeastern having, actually, no, they're pretty even in the ult race now that I look at it. Kent State being a little bit behind, 75 to Annihilation, while Northeastern is 90 to beat. And now Kent State is attempting what they could not before, and what Northeastern did immediately on their first attack, and that's to take high ground, right? Jumping between high grounds makes Foggy not able to do Frisco not able to do anything while sitting on point.
Yeah, we see the Overclock does come out from Hedwig. I don't know if it's going to be able to find anything. We see the Blizzard as well as Beat come out from the Northeastern team. They do get frozen, put in a bit of a pickle. Can they take the Lucio out of the fight? Doesn't seem like it. He gets away in time, and a blue card finds one onto Frisco. Right now, Kent State has a good spot to try and take this one back, but Hedwig is able to find one onto Kosai, and right now it's just Kent State's 4 versus Northeastern's 4 as well. They're trying to fight back. Can they get the point? Is there going to be any contention at all? They do finally contest it. Hedwig finds one onto Lex. The rest of the team trying to collapse now onto it. We're going to see Hedwig find a second. Frisco finds the third. Froggy ends up finding 2 of his own, and Frisco finally takes Froggy out. They almost get the point, but with 30 seconds left, they've only got about one more team fight left in them.
Yeah, this is getting incredibly scary for Kent State here. Only 20 seconds to take another tick from first point. Foggy definitely having Annihilation here, getting a little bit necessary to use Annihilation here. But honestly, if Hedwig dies first, or Ducklin dies first, that's huge. Getting a big pick and a lot of damage leaving from Northeastern. And here comes Annihilation from Kent State. But Lex is already down, and that's a lot of damage from Frisco as well.
Yeah, right now the Annihilation from both sides comes out. Frisco's is still active, although he's real low on health. Finally falls to a blue card. Froggy finds one onto Hedwig. Hedwig finds one onto Frosty. Q-Hop finds one onto Foggy. The beam of light comes out from Q-Hop as well. We're going to see what ends up going on. Kosai takes it out, and they get the payload. They have extra time to work with.
And I must say, though, it's not a whole lot of time. Even with the time that they're given, no matter what, they will not have more time than Northeastern, unfortunately. When after the first point, you get 2 minutes 30, and after you capture the second, you get 1 minute 30. So, even if they had capped this payload in 0 seconds, it just teleported there magically somehow. They would now they would only have 15 seconds more, and even then is nothing, right?
This ends
Yeah, we're gonna
now.
see. Out comes the overclock. It doesn't find anybody as Shiro gets a
Oh,
triple, and Briscoe finds the other two. So a little bit of a wasted overclock there. I saw the potential, but the rest of Northeastern just collapsed onto Kent State's team. And while they do have two support ults to work with, they're now fighting outside of the Kent State squad.
yeah, touch the front door challenge, and Chris was able to do it, as well as get a kill on the co-side, which is absolutely massive. Alucard also getting picked here by Hedwig, and I mean, Northeastern's just gonna hold this. This is kind of crazy, honestly. I don't think I've ever seen this from a competitive game here.
They do have another spawn door to come out of, but Northeastern doesn't seem to be giving them a lot of space to work with right now. Kent State is trying their best to push past it. They finally find an opening as Froggy tries to move past as far as they can with the Lucio and the rest of the team. They're going to go for the point, which forces Northeastern back around, but this is going to be a point fight nonetheless.
A huge ult fight as well. Kitsune coming out from Kent State, annihilation from Frisco, and I mean, there's so much heat from both sides. And Blade coming out, there's so much going on. And still, there's no picks until now. Duckman getting Alucard, and Foggy, though, getting Frisco. Hedwig getting ledged back and forth, back and forth. Hedwig, there it is there. Now, both teams are now completely even. We'll have to see what happens here. It looks like Kent State has their tank, which means they might step a little longer, but it looks like not actually. Hedwig, Shiro, and Q-Hop are just able to do so much, but Annihilation comes out and Foggy gets 2, 3, and that's going to be the fight win for Kent State there.
Right now, with overtime on the horizon, Northeastern needs a single team fight win, and they will take game number 2 right now. Duckman is trying their best to find an opening around the Kent State defense right now, but Foggy pushed up a little bit too far as the rest of the Kent State's team is in the back line, and the only ults that both sides have to work with is the Q-Hop ult, the beam from the sky, Hedwig on the overclock, and a blue card with the overclock as well. We see both come out. Are they able to find anything at all? Both shields in action right now. We see the beam come out from Q-Hop. A blue card is able to find one. Hedwig is able to find one. Frisco finds one of their own. They're trying their best to keep the fight alive, but Frisco finds a second. Duckling finds the fourth in total, and right now it's just Foggy as Northeastern takes game 2.
Absolutely well played from Northeastern. I mean, there were just so many ults coming out there, ult fight after ult fight after ult fight, and and Northeastern still just managed to have ults at the end. Absolutely insane. Duckland always going crazy, like normal, and I mean, he's just able to get so many picks here.
Yeah, what a sight to behold. And the Blade, an absolute incredible play, the 4K. Whew, wow. I mean, it's definitely being able to put up a fight. We're seeing that Northeastern, while dominant, still has some cracks in their armor that Kent State is able to get underneath. But right now, Kent State can't find enough of them to battle against NEU, and NEU is just showing that dominance and showing how powerful they are as a team and working together, but Kent State just needs to overcome that to try and bring this back, and right now, the only thing they can hope for is reverse sweep territory, as Kent State is now on the board with 2-0. Or
Absolutely.
sorry, NEU is on the board.
NEU is
Yeah.
on the board 2-0. I mean, everybody's playing really well. I got to give it to everybody, but NEU just kind of stepping up, right? Duckling coming out, and Hedwig and Frisco coming out strong. All these picks, Q-Hop able to just support the whole team, and I mean, it's going all the way. Each player is doing their part. Consistency is key, and I mean, Northeastern being number 2 for a reason is able to stay consistent with these players, and doing their job, and it's just going really well.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to see game 3, but right now NEU seems slotted to win this one as well. We are going to go to Flashpoint, but the issue with that is that Kent State is not going to have a lot of time in these team fights. And right now, Kent State seems to thrive when they have their ults online, but it's just not enough to play a full Flashpoint game hoping that you can win at each fight with just an ult alone. And so I'm assuming that NEU is going to be able to just to take the natural team fight game win. And Kent State, while probably going to have 1 point contention or another when their ults do come flying, I'm expecting Kent State not necessarily be able to withstand the assault from NEU. But that's my prediction. There is the caster curse. But as we go over to Runasapi, this is going to be possibly game point and the final match for the night.
That's very interesting. I think we're going on to Runasapi, which is a
Oh,
push
it's a
map
push map. It's not
instead of
Flashpoint.
Flashpoint, which it's it changes it up a little bit. I think the fights don't have to be as fast.
True.
Playing on push. It's a bit more of a methodical game mode. If you can hold on to that bot, take fights maybe a little more slowly. Honestly,
I mean,
kind
you've
of
got
kind of
10 minutes.
exactly. You've got 10 minutes, and which is plenty of time. But if you can take that bot as far as you can and just kind of chill with it,
Yeah.
um, be calm and just run down the time. This is a game where running down time it can be very important.
Yeah, it is I mean, push is definitely a game of cushioning. The
Hmm.
more room you have to hold back the enemy team, sure, you're not going to win every team fight against them, but the difference maker is going to be who can push it the furthest and then hold the enemy team for longer so that they can't push back and meet you in the middle. And that midpoint is going to be very important because having that added spawn and the extra spawn that's much closer to the robot, if you can keep the robot from crossing that midline the whole game, you are in perfect position to take the game itself.
Absolutely. In terms of characters that we can see here, I mean, of course, naturally, just like everything else, it can be Ramatra. Honestly, on Runasabi, Orissa's pretty good as well. I mean, there's a lot of points, especially on that beginning middle point, where a javelin can do a lot of work. Being able to shove people around and doing all this other stuff with javelin spin as well. Um, but we'll have to see what happens. I'd expect nothing more than Ramatra.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
it's really
he
just a staple.
I mean, he does well on every map. I mean, when you have a tank with range, like barely any damage fall off. A perk that's basically a shotgun, a shield, extra health like fortify, and melee capabilities with a. I almost just flipped the bird. With with two with an ult that is an AOE damage dealer that puts you in the melee form with range. It's a lot to want, and
Yeah.
like Ramatra is an incredible hero. Don't get me wrong,
Mhm.
but it's oh, there's a Mauga.
Oh, not a single Ramatra actually.
Yeah, but Ramatra is such a staple in the community right now, and in the comp as general. And right now, we are seeing the Frisco go to Ramatra instead of the Mauga.
This is going to be very interesting to see. I mean, like I was saying, I think Foggy's pick here, especially for that beginning point, is going to be very nice. And I mean, Kosai playing the same Alucard and Kosai playing the same uh, Sojourn May comp that we've seen this past game and these past rounds. Comfort characters is what they worked well. But Ducklin able to exploit Kosai and is able to take the first kill.
Yeah, Q-Hop is able to find one onto Sky. Shiro cleans up the third. Right now, Q-Hop finds another onto Foggy. And wow, what a shot from Hedwig to clean up onto a blue card. And Northeastern already has the advantage in their favor to take this one back.
Absolutely. Definitely too early to talk about alt charge, but not too early to talk about alt charge because I love alts. I mean, Northeastern's a little bit ahead because they just won the fight, makes sense. Um, but, Frisco coming out with that annihilation could be huge against State, not having anybody except for maybe a May wall to block off the annihilation. Could be very big. Frisco and Q-Hop each getting a pick onto Kent State, and that's just going to be a cleanup, right? Cleanup kills for Northeastern onto Kent State to just finish out that push into the middle bot there. They're going to get quick spawn immediately.
Yeah, I mean, there's been little competition, or not competition, there's been little resistance against Northeastern right now from Kent State because Northeastern's just been taking over and showing their dominance and just putting Kent State in situations that's hard for them to come back from. And right now, Ducklin, while being low on health, does get healed back, and Shiro in the same boat right now. So Kent State fighting back as much as they can. They have that high ground advantage, but they've got to contest the bot sooner rather than later, and they've got to get it back towards the midpoint. But now Blue Card is able to find one onto the tank, which gives them a relatively large advantage right now. We're seeing some good healing come out from Q-Op as well, but Hedwig in a situation where we might see them use that overclock. Not just yet, but Lex is able to find one onto Ducklin, trying to get them out of the corner here. The fly does end up going out, but Hedwig taken out by a Blue Card once again. And so now Kent State is back in position to take this one to the midfield again, or to the midpoint, and try to bring this one back around and stop that quick spawn from going. And so as Kent State pushes back, now with almost all of their ults online, here comes a lot of ults. So we see the overclock, we see the slam, we see the blizzard, and we see the orbital ray. A lot is coming out. Foggy finds one on the Q-Hop. Sky finds one on the Frisco. Ducklin is able to find one, and same with Hedwig onto Sky. The overclock from Hedwig comes out. Foggy's able to clean up on Ducklin. Finds another on Kosai. Can they keep this going? Foggy finds one onto Hedwig. I think this is even. If not, it's just the Lucio. And wow, I cannot believe that Kent State were able to hold that without using any supportals.
That was incredibly impressive. But it also means that both teams used the same number of ults, and unfortunately Kent State also used Terra Surge at some point, which means that Northeastern is ahead in the ults. And especially now, now the Orbital Ray came out. But Beats come out and Blade and Annihilation. Northeastern just used everything. Holy, and Kosai's still getting kills. But Frisco gets Lex, and unfortunately Kosai is just gonna keep going. Hedwig getting key, and we're gonna have to just keep Northeastern winning the game because they just used every single ult they had.
Let's press Q to win the game button right there. You love to see when they do that. Both support ults from Kent State were not enough to counter the absolute chaotic mess that just came out from Northeastern. We saw the beat from both sides. We saw the blade from Northeastern as well as Annihilation. And then we saw the orbital ray from Sky as well, but it wasn't enough. And as they move back to try and get the halfway mark, they do indeed get it. So Kent State right now is in a position to try and hold this one for as long as they can, but Ducklin finds one onto Sky. The rest of them are slowly falling as Hedwig finds one onto a Blue Card. You see the ice block come out from the May. Can they hold this? We see the Terra Surge is back online once again. Hedwig finds another on the board. Is going to finally fall from Foggy, but Q-Hop finds one onto Lex. There's a lot going on. Foggy finally falls, and it seems like Northeastern is slated to push this bot even further.
Absolutely, getting quick spawn there means that Northeastern's going to come back even faster. And, you know, Q-Hop playing so far back in the back line, trying not to get picked here. As Frisco is able to push points, it looks like Hedwig's off on the flank. Orbital, or not Orbital Ray, Overclock coming in and getting absolutely nobody. And Blizzard comes in and is able to find two, and Frisco doesn't die from it, but unfortunately, Hedwig, I believe, does. Or no, it was Hedwig.
While Frisco did find one onto a Blue Card in the end, it doesn't necessarily matter. But the difference being Northeastern is going to have that quick spawn to their advantage, and everybody is going to be right up and ready to contest Kent State in the midpoint once again. We do see that a lot of ults from Kent State are close to being online. We've got Beat inbound as well as Overclock from a Blue Card and Terra Surge from Foggy. All Northeastern really has at this moment is Orbital Ray, as it does get popped from Q-Hop. They're going to try and push back as much as they can. Kosai low on health, trying to get back. We might see the Overclock from the Blue Card come out as the Terra Surge comes out, but I think it's interrupted. Either that or used early. A Blue Card finds one, so does Sky, so does Kosai. Can they find any more? Trying their best to do so. They find another, they find a third, and Kent State is pushing this bot further.
Alucard getting 4 there. Absolutely insane. Ski putting in so much healing. Kosai doing damage, Foggy doing damage, you know. Northeastern, you know, just being a little bit unfortunate situation there. And it sounds like Kent State is gonna just be able to get quick spawns, which is gonna allow spawn room to be a lot closer as Ducklin goes in and gets immediately killed. Lex killing Shiro. That's puts Kent State in an incredible lead here.
They're close to overcoming that point that Northeastern is pushing from. If they can win this one, they have a chance to do so. The Annihilation comes out, as well as the Blade from Duckland, but it's quickly taken out by Kosai. We see both Orbital Rays still in action, finally gone. The beat came out from Lexi as well, trying their best to hold this one for as long as they can. I'm sure Northeastern is, but they're just losing potential to do so, as Kosai finds one onto Shiro, another onto Frisco, and it seems like Kent State has taken the lead.
Absolutely massive. Kent State gonna have Blizzard as well as Orbital or Overclock. Northeastern is about to have Hedwig, Shiro, and Q-Hop's ult, and Q-G-Hop, just Hop's ult, and that's gonna be massive for Northeastern if they can use them properly. Unfortunately, Kent State has no support ults, which are absolutely critical in surviving a lot of these ults. Hedwig coming in with Overclock, only able to find Lex so far, as it slowly ends, and as Kosai kills Duckland and Q-Hop dies. Blizzard comes out, but unfortunately Beat comes in and is able to cancel a lot of the Blizzard. Still getting Frisco though. It's absolutely huge. Shiro kills Foggy, Ski kills Shiro, and it's gonna end up being a Kent State fight win.
They still have 2 minutes to work with, but right now Kent State is on a roll with these ults and with these team fights. They've been putting on a show for us right now against Northeastern, and while Northeastern still has that 2-0 lead, Kent State is slotted to right now win this if they can just hold it for a while. Hedwig does find one onto Lex, which forces Kent State to backtrack just a bit back to the rest of their team. Duckland trying to take this advantage for as long as they can. Can they find a kill? It's going to be close onto a blue card, but it does seem like a blue card is going to get away in time. Sky is taken out from Frisco now. And the rest of the team now from Northeastern is pushing up as long as they can. Kosai is taken out. A blue card is off the map. And it seems like Northeastern has a chance to shut down Kent State. They've just got to push it almost all the way from here on until the end of the game.
That's super unfortunate when everybody died. Foggy and Ski both getting close spawn, but Alucard, Kosai, and Lex not. You know, it's absolutely going to be a farther walk. And unfortunately, if they had died a little bit sooner in the fight, then, you know, maybe they could have contested sooner. But Satellite Vector's coming out from both sides, and nobody's dying, unfortunately. Parasurge coming out, killing Hedwig and Hop getting low. Frisco, though, killing Lex, and Overclock from Alucard is going to kill Duckland. Kent State wants to keep pushing this cart, and it's going to be clean up for Kent State.
I don't know if the Lucio is going to come back in time for the quick spawn. It's going to be close, but with only one person pushing it, they might have a chance to come back in time. Will they do it? No, they're going to be all the way from the far spawn. So right now, this is getting to last fight territory. Northeastern has to try and bring this one all the way back to the front, and with Blizzard and Beat on the way for Kent State, and the only thing contesting that being Northeastern's barrage, it seems like Kent State is slotted to win this one. They're going to have to fight for it, though. Northeastern is certainly not done with this game just yet. We're seeing a blue card take some fights here, but out comes the Blizzard. It finds one, but Duckland takes out the backline. Both supports fall. Kosai is able to take down Duckland. Here comes the overclock from Hedwig and finds one into a blue card. Shiro cleans up on Foggy. Kosai's taken out, and right now Northeastern has a chance. They've just got to take it from here to the end.
Oh, wow. That barrage from Duckland is absolutely crucial in that fight. Taking down both supports means that any damage done to Kent State is absolutely permanent. And now Northeastern is just kind of waiting, trying to push it just enough to get a group up.
Yeah, they were in a bit of a pickle in this situation, but right now, Foggy, I know they could possibly C9 this if they just stay off it for too long. I'm sure that we're seeing Frisco here go for as much damage as he can on the side here. Beat is ready for Kent State, but that's the only thing they've got, and Northeastern has Beat on the way as well, but that seems to be all that's going to be the deciding match, or deciding thing of this match right now. We're seeing that Arista falls before the Beat comes out. Kosai does return the favor onto Duckland. Right now, Northeastern in a good spot as they have Beat at the ready to protect against anything Kent State brings to the table. They've got to fall back if they want to do anything right now. And it seems like Northeastern is going to push this as far as they can. Kent State obviously going for a quick regroup here. Can Northeastern hold this all the way? They're getting close. They've just got to push a little further. If they win this next team fight, I think they've got it in the bag. And when Beat comes out, as well as having the orbital ray and their backline, Duckland finds one on the sky. Can they keep up the pressure? We see the slam come out. Ghostside finds one on his zero. Hedwig gets one. Duckman gets another. Hedwig finds another. Can Northeastern do it? It's Foggy that remains. I think they've got it in the bag. They've just got to protect it from Kent State. Keep them alive. Are they going to do it? Yes, they will.
Northeastern able to pull it back. Definitely one thing about push is that it's never over until it's over. Being even down over like 100 meters and still able to push it all the way back, absolutely massive. Air Surge is coming in from every which way. Hence, or uh, Hedwig and Northeastern able to have so many more ultimates ready, and it's just the end. Northeastern is now going to be the team to go on tomorrow to face Ball State, the number 1 seed who just beat Miami as well.
It was such a close game, and wow, my voice is going to be gone tomorrow. But what a fight nonetheless from both teams. It was incredible show. I loved what Kent State was doing in the end there. They finally got their footing, started pushing forward. But we do have the bracket to show, being the last thing we are going to have for you tonight. But we'll go ahead and check the standings. So Ball State moves on to fight NEU, the number 1 versus the number 2 seed. Ball State being the only team other than BGSU to take a map off of NEU. And NEU, I believe, is the only team to take a map off of Ball State. So this is going to be an interesting one tomorrow. But other than that, I want to thank everybody for coming out today, all the viewers, all the producers, the TDs, the observers, the casters, everybody who put on this wonderful show for you tonight. Thank you all for coming out, and I believe that will be everything from us, unless
Yep.
you have something else to say.
Real quick, we've got
Okay.
game. The stream starts back up tomorrow
Okay, yeah.
at 9 o'clock. We've got some league in the morning, and then it switches over around 2 o'clock to some more Overwatch. And don't miss any of it. It's going to be some great games ahead. We'll see you guys later.